Hello everyone, and welcome to this free call where we are going to look at 3 ways to navigate through stress and anxiety so that we can become calm, clear, and fully expressed as nature intended. And first, I'd like to just welcome you and celebrate each of you for taking the time out to be here to deepen your innate wisdom and trust yourselves that you are exactly where you need to be right now in order to lower your stress levels and really look at what you require and desire as your key to being your own medicine and to writing your own prescription. And who am I? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah Jane Farrell, and I have been working with women for over 15 years to help them to rehabilitate after they have experienced a major emotional or physical trauma like a car accident or a home invasion, and to just teach them how to vigorously care for themselves so that they can get out of the blues and out of the fear to live happy, healthy, and free. Some of you know that 15 years ago was really the beginning of my journey into integrative medicine and really looking at healing from the inside out through mindfulness processes when I hit my dark night of the soul, or in epigenetics, where I tripped on that last switch to caused me to have what looked like a psychotic breakdown after being misdiagnosed as bipolar depressive and having lived my whole life in a very low grade fear. I grew up in a war zone in Zimbabwe, and my perception of what was safe and what was not safe, through no lack of my parents for giving me the love and the nurturing that they could, was a little confusing. And being a sensitive child who could see and hear and communicate with the animals and non-human or non or inanimate life forms like rocks and trees, I was judged often as being too sensitive or crazy or weird, for lack of a better word, by my peers, and I was always made wrong to feel that way. So I really am here to tell you that you don't have to turn to Western medicine, prescriptions, and drugs to get healthy and vital again. I want you to know that when we really zero in and take a deep look into those uncomfortable places, we can get to the root cause of what is perhaps showing up as anxiety, as depression, or as some kind of mild or chronic disease in your body. Just know that it is possible to change this and to create calm in the chaos and get that feeling of relaxation into your body more than you are being stressed, so that you can be confident and clear to create your best life. When we stay in that place of asking questions and looking at what is possible, and when your safety and survival and connection needs are met, then it is so much easier to go with the flow. And let's face it, stress and anxiety are an unavoidable fact of life. We're worrying about worrying, and stress is becoming an epidemic. Herman Benson, who is the pioneer of mind-body medicine, maintains that we're not equipped with coping strategies for stress. And with over 5 billion people that have been prescribed SSRIs just in America alone, and the cost of stress in industries and businesses alone being so astronomical, we really have to look at what this is costing us as individuals, but also as a whole collective community, and to the viability and the sustainability of our species as a whole, as well as the planet. And how, you may be asking, can we start to do that? Well, just start by making a choice and owning and really believing and trusting that you and you alone are the captain of your ship. Your point of view creates your reality. So if you want to move out of it, it isn't just about choosing one thing like meditation or wishing or hoping that it's going to change, but really knowing and trusting that you are not guided by stress and anxiety. You can consciously and wisely guide yourself in the direction of your life when you start to know the innate wisdom and potentiality of your body. Your body is your greatest consciousness facilitator. And when you really get that and you start to trust and look internally to the little nudges that your body is giving you all the time, you can prevent yourself from having a full body breakdown like I did by noticing the signs and course correcting along the way. And why should you listen to me? Well, as I said, I have come through the worst prognoses and diagnoses about having to stay on bipolar medication for the rest of my life. And in 2006, I became certified as a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. I am a advanced Parama certified body talker, and I have a huge toolbox and an arsenal of tools which I have combined into my own system that really gets results through the mindfulness practices of root cause resolution. So really getting into the core woundings of what has created this backlog of trauma and stress on a cellular level, and then releasing it after we've identified what that is through a variety of somatic and movement-based trauma release like Feldenkrais and resistance training, resistance stretching, and music and sound therapy, as well as my work with biogeometry, the work of Dr. Abraham Karim, which is an incredible biosignature that has been very effective in changing things like hepatitis C and growth hormones that have stopped working, and various ways, and it has so many applications. So I know a lot, and I want to share that with you so that you don't have to spend years and hundreds and thousands of rands wondering when you're ever going to get it, or when you're ever going to get relief from some of your symptoms. And I know this work works because I'm living proof that I am not my diagnoses, and I have hundreds of my clients as the living proof that this isn't just fact, that this stuff really, really works. So stay with me. What I practice in my clinic and on my online programs is really this beautiful melding pot of ancient wisdom that has been practiced through Ayurveda and Chinese medicine for hundreds of thousands of years, and acupressure points, moxibustion, equine psychotherapy. All these modalities of mindfulness become functional medicine. It's an integrative approach, and you just need to remember that you didn't get to where you are now overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, and like all good things, if you really want change to hold, then you need to follow a system that's very pragmatic in its approach before you start to go into resolving things like your gut health or adrenal fatigue, and really getting your microbiomes healthy, cleaning up your diet, sleeping and getting good quality sleep, and really going back to nature for the answers of where we're missing so much of the goodness and that's available for us free if we just have the information and are willing to do the work to apply this to every aspect of your life. And these truths never change. Most of the time, if you're just changing one part of what I give to you today, as in getting out into the sunshine, healing the separation sickness of attention nature deficit disorder. Many of our children that are being misdiagnosed and put onto Ritalin and toxic drugs to numb down this beautiful innate ability of theirs to really move into their truth and move into a state of calm and not this high arousal state of anxiety and stress that society is putting on them to perform and to function and to do more and to be constantly busy in the act of doing rather than in the act of non-doing. Just getting them out in the sunshine, giving them good quality water to drink, giving them a good clean diet. All these things are nature's medicine. And you can literally rewrite your own prescription by just starting to take small steps, one step at a time, and changing some of the old programming and patterns slowly and consistently to get you back to optimum health. As much as modern technology and internet and Google are adding stresses to our life, I'm just so grateful for the platform where there is just so much available to get you informed, to make these easy changes, and to really start to questioning the big companies and farmers like Monsanto, and really looking at where your food is coming from, and to ask a lot of questions before you decide to get bullied into choices that are really intuitively not resonating with you as far as Western medicine treatment. Did you know that over 75% of the American population experiences some form of depression or symptoms of anxiety and stress? And I'm guessing, although there are no stats available for South Africa, that we're probably toppling over on the 99 percentile. And almost half of these people are taking some kind of antidepressant or pharmaceutical drug just to help them to sleep or to relax or to reduce their stress. And I want to tell you that it doesn't have to be this way. You can take back your life. You can take back your healing naturally if you just start to ask some questions and apply some easy tools and strategies, and I'm going to give you some of those today. And I don't need to remind you just how the impact of chronic stress and anxiety leads to all the other non-specific health diseases and problems like digestive disorders and type 2 diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease and stroke, nervous system disorders and brain disorders like dementias and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and even many skin diseases and autoimmune diseases. And that's just a short list. It's also severely impacting our ability to cultivate close and rich loving relationships and our ability to have a positive impact on others, and dramatically inhibits our ability to advance in our life purpose and create money and get our body of work out into the world. So it's easy to see that people with anxiety and depression have less money and tend to live shorter lives and are more isolated. And they're less happy and fulfilled, and they do experience more depression because anxiety and depression are best friends. And basically living with chronic stress and anxiety and trauma and fear just doesn't add up to a happy life. And I know that you have a far greater vision for your life and your health, and there is no time to waste, because I know that everyone who experiences anxiety and depression and chronic stress, that it's not them. The anxious you is not you. The stressed you is not you. That's not how you naturally are. And it's not your true nature at all. I want you to be who you are here to be and be the greatest version of yourself. I know that there is something bigger possible for you. And how do I know? Well, you're on this call, and for that I am deeply grateful, because together we can make a difference and we can start to inspire other people to know that there is something bigger than all of us on the other side of stress, anxiety, and depression. So you are definitely in the right place if you are ready to get out of this constant cycle of struggle and pain and stress and anxiety and depression. You're in the right place if you are ready to feel more comfortable and healthy and love the skin you're in. If you want to feel more calm and centered and more focused and confident. If you want the clarity and to get out of the overwhelm so that you can actually set yourself off to create everything you desire and require, then stay with me. Take a deep breath and have a drink of water, and just trust me that by the end of this webinar, you're going to know exactly how to synchronize your nervous system and your digestive system with the natural state of flow. You are going to know how to use your innate wisdom to dissolve tension and feel more at ease, to balance your mind and just harmonize your whole physiology. And you're going to know how the mind and the body interact to either perpetuate or to end this constant cycle of negative thinking and worry. So let's dive in. And first, it's essential for you to understand that you're not making this up. Anxiety is not just in your brain, in your head, or any singular part of your body. It is in your entire body-mind system, in every cell and every single system. And healing this requires that you start to look at it from a new paradigm of healing, and that is integrative medicine. That is a holistic approach. So if you want to heal to the point where it won't return, then we must look at this from a broader view, and that is the Eastern approach of medicine, which looks at the majority of illnesses in the internal climate of where it begins at the beginning. And if we want to really heal, you have to work in the area of you and what is closest to you, ground zero, so to speak. And then we have to look at the environmental stresses that are closest to you and what leads you to your repetitive actions and activities. So that's your rituals, your patterns, and your programs. The next level is then what comes from those actions. So how are you numbing down? What are you putting into your body? What are you drinking? What are you eating? And then we're going to look at natural medicine. So this is acupuncture, this is energy medicine, this is natural medicine that comes from the outside, that is there to enhance your optimum level of healing. And then we look at the homeopathic or supplemental support, like individual amino acids or hormone therapy. And then the fifth level is really the next level of healing, which can sometimes be drugs or invasive therapies. So just remember that the closer we are to the core of our true nature, the greater the impact and the more lasting the result is going to be. So if you're really going to come back to your natural state of being, then it's most effective if you can stay within the range of you as ground zero and the things that are closest to you and your environment. And I've seen so much change with my clients just from looking at those places where you have control and you have power and the most impact and the greatest ability to come back to knowing that you are your own medicine and that you can write your own prescription because you are taking back your power to be your own healer. The more further you move away from the I am presence and your core, the more difficult it is for you to really know what's true for you and what's not true for you, because it gets very noisy out there listening to the diagnoses and prognoses and opinions of other people. Remember, nobody knows your body better than you. So remember too that we're aiming here to live as close to our true nature and in synchronicity with our true nature and the natural cycles, which are just as nature has cycles of the seasons, or the moon and the sun and the planets and the tides. And I go through this in depth in my 5 elements class, and also the going with the flow through the compass directions. So just remember that you really want to look at everything as an all-encompassing cycle of your internal nature as the external nature, or the microcosm of the macrocosm, because everything is connected to everything. And Biology of Belief is a great book that's written by Bruce Lipton, which really goes into how much we are in the flow rather than cause and effect of our external environment. Just remember that in order to be healthy, we have to live in alignment with these natural cycles. And if we don't, this is where it gets to be a struggle, and we forever feel that we're swimming upstream and that nothing is going your way. And this is that place of suffering and stress and anxiety. So we're really aiming here to go into a more harmonious balance with the natural laws of nature and go with them. So let's talk specifics here, and this is what I call my big 5. So the first is eating and digestion, and again, just call your attention to how the health of the organs and the endocrines and your digestive system are directly related to our emotions and moods. And this is where the good old wives' tales, what your granny used to tell you about, eating in an environment that's pleasurable is conducive to good digestion, and that when you eat when you're upset, this is where you cause acid reflux and inflammatory conditions to start to arise. So it's all about the nature again of setting the tone for everything being complementary to your healing. When you start to understand the 5 elements chart and how every endocrine organ and body part is related to one of the elements, each organ, endocrine and body part has its own consciousness. And this is what they've known for thousands of years, that the emotions are intricately tied to how well our digestive system and our body functions, that the organs are affected by our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So when we look at what we're thinking, we can change what we are becoming by our body's innate wisdom of communicating that emotion and allowing it to be expressed in a healthy way rather than a pathological way, which just results in body breakdown. And this is really where my passion lies in Chinese medicine, because the whole system is completely based on the natural cycle, down to balancing through the Chinese clock. And every organ, endocrine, and body part marks a peak function of an organ in the body, and also when it is at its weakness and when it needs to really repair and nourish itself. So when you know the Chinese clock and how it relates to these organs, then you can start to adjust your lifestyle to really support your body, to support you in having a happy, healthy, balanced life. Because when we miss these critical times, that is when that organ itself becomes impaired, and it finds it really difficult to get into its normal rhythm. And when I'm working with people, I often go through this to actually see what time they're going to sleep, what time they're eating, and adjusting that appropriately so that their bodies can actually start to get the benefit from those activities. And just by moving that into the more natural flow, then people get incredible results, and it doesn't cost anything to do that. My clients always love it when I remind them that, the peak time for digestion is when your stomach is at its strongest, which is why between 7 and 9 a.m. in the morning is the most optimum time for you to give your body some nutrient after it has been in a fast state all night while you're sleeping. The best time to have your meetings or to do thinking projects is when your spleen, so the conscious and unconscious thought patterns, are governed by the spleen. So when you are planning your day, make sure that you have all your important meetings, and when you need to function on high brain, prefrontal function, to have them between 9 and 11 a.m. It's also really, really important that you are asleep before 11 p.m. So I always ask my clients to aim to be asleep by 10 p.m. at the latest, so that your gallbladder, which is peak at 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. in the morning, this is the time when your gallbladder gets to assimilate all your daily experiences so that it can plan and make decisions with the liver. So the liver is the decision-making aspect. It's the yin and yang aspect of the wood element, and that takes over from the gallbladder between 1 and 3 a.m. in the morning. So you want to be asleep so that your body can really do a good job, and this is specifically to the gallbladder and liver, so that you can wake up and have that plan in the morning. People that procrastinate, people that are having difficulty in their ability to make plans, or they're procrastinating or fence sitting, look at the time. Sometimes it's just because they're going to bed too late, and it can be a big, vital, easy change to make, is just go to bed at 10 p.m. and see if you wake up clearer and more focused in the morning. And it's fun to know this information. So dive in and look at the chart on the Chinese clock and start asking questions. And if you're liking what you're hearing, then I highly suggest that you do the 5-element class that I have, which takes you really deeply into each of the elements and the related organs, and what you can do to support each of those vital body parts, so that you can actually start to have excitement and the clarity and the confidence to actually create your best life. And remember here too, we're not just talking about external stresses that are creating anxiety, but also internal stresses like skipping breakfast, or rushing in traffic, or eating dinner too close to the time that you go to sleep. You're creating an inflammation in your internal climate and internal stress. And remember, what you're creating on the inside reflects on the outside. I always say how you do anything is how you do everything, and your internal chaos is going to reflect as external chaos. So you really want to look at just these simple changes in your clock and get yourself back to a place of getting as close to your natural biological rhythm of your organs, endocrines, and body parts can make a huge difference in increasing vitality and your health overall. All right, so this is a huge subject, obviously, and we're not going to cover it all in 60 minutes, but just after this call, just go and look at one thing that you could change as far as your sleep pattern or your natural cycles and your meals. Look at what you're eating. You want to be eating something light in the evenings and giving your body a more substantial protein-based meal in the mornings between 7 and 9 p.m. All right, so the second key to navigate your way through stress and anxiety so that you can be calm, clearer, and more fully expressed rather than depressed is movement. And movement is essential for our bodies and for our minds, because anxiety likes to get stuck, depression likes to get stuck, emotions get stuck in the denser parts of our body. And when we're not expressing in a healthy way through the liver, through the gallbladder time of assimilating the daily experiences of knowing what to get rid of and what to keep, this is really where movement, and I'm talking about somatic and movement-based trauma release, can be so simple and yet so pivotal in changing how you feel during the day and how you respond to your daily challenges, because it doesn't take a lot. So instead of sitting at a desk all day, get a ball and bounce up and down while you work. Get up in 20-minute regular intervals and do a little bit of resistance stretching against a wall. Pull your arms back. Do some cat bends and yoga poses. Just take out 5 or 10 minutes every 20 minutes or 30 minutes to just move your body and release some of the tension that's building up. And I know a lot of my clients are loving the standing desks because you can do calf raises, you can shake your hips, you can swing from side to side, you can give your body a whole lot more support and your spine a lot more support when you are standing up and being able to just move out the stress that otherwise accumulates in your neck from bad posture. So look at some mindful movements that you can incorporate into your daily routine. And again, I know what it feels like to be overwhelmed and anxious and in a place of beating myself up because I haven't gone for a run or done some weight training at the gym. And the whole point of this is to get you into a state of stressing less, not stressing yourself out because you're not able to fit this into your day because you're already overwhelmed and taking on too much. And this is key here, because it doesn't take a lot to just do a little walking meditation up and down the passage of where you work, or getting out into nature and just doing some stretches or yoga poses, or waking up half an hour earlier in the morning and just doing a lying or sitting meditation. So movement can be many ways. And remember here, we're wanting you to just take steps to relieve stress and anxiety and depression. We're not wanting you to beat yourself up because you think, oh gosh, this is another thing that I have to do and how am I going to fit it in and I don't have time. So take small steps and just start to, if you never get up, if you kind of see the days gone by and you've spent the entire day holding in your bladder rather than listening to your body urges and taking a walk or taking a skip or doing a few jumping jacks on your way to the toilet, then just start with that part of self-care, of taking more regular breaks and doing some stretches along the way. It doesn't have to be difficult. We need that to function as a fully integrated, organic, living, breathing mechanism that has its own physiology. And this is what gets our hormones and neurotransmitters and organs and organ systems really balancing and calm down us on an emotional state, to calm down and expand the mind and our thinking. Because in anxiety, our thinking, just like our body, tends to become very tight and very narrow, and we need it to move and at the same time totally relax and balance our entire body and mind, and just release that pent-up tension in our fascia and in our muscles. And that's what's really going to create a very feel-good situation and get your serotonin up and your dopamine levels up, and just more oxygenated blood up into your brain to create new healthy brain cells and really get you feeling like there is some optimism and some excitement flowing through your veins. And it is possible. It's totally possible to have a therapeutic movement that does that for you completely naturally. And it's understood in Chinese medicine and spiritual practices that this can be done by combining the use of three things. One is your body postural movement. The second thing is the sound and the breath, or the vibration of speaking. And the third part is our thinking, or our intentional creativity. And this isn't yoga that I'm talking about now in the West, that yoga basically is just using our body posture. These are energetic practices that are happy and fun for your body and for your inner child. And they're way more powerful because they can have truly profound and beneficial effects when you just skillfully and appropriately apply them into your everyday life. And with those three elements that are totally naturally available to you at any moment, the body postural movement, the sound, the breath or the speech, and the intention and the thinking, when you combine all three of those, you have this incredibly powerful tool to start to change the state of your mind and our physiology. And this has been known for hundreds of thousands of years in the East. And Western medicine is only now starting to validate the effectiveness of this kind of movement, of Tai Chi, of Qigong, of directional movement. And they've been written about in the Eastern texts and used and passed down and tested and proven to be effective for thousands and thousands of years. So just try some of this and step into a new way of being with your body, because they are easy, they're convenient, you can do them at any age and at any ability that you are in with your physical body, to just apply them in your life. And you just need to know what to do. But remember, you can't just do any energy practice. It needs to be very specifically crafted as your personal prescription to suit your specific goal. And you need to know how to combine all of that, the body movement, the mind, and the speech, to specifically heal your body and your mind of anxiety and chronic stress wherever you are right now. And if you're listening to this and you have participated in the Out of the Blues, going from anxiety and depression to full expression and calm and clarity program, or some of my other work, you would know that I always look back to nature. I always say that everything I've learned about being human and coming out of that high state of anxiety down into that smiley face dip that you see on your nervous system, and how it should work and function when we are expressing and releasing in a natural way, that everything I know about being human I learned from animals. And you can see this in various National Geographic programs, or if you've ever watched an animal come out of an anesthetic, they start to shake, especially if they've been caught when they were trying to run away, and they're in that high arousal state when they're tranquilized. You see them when they start to come out of that anesthesia, they start to shake and their bodies run, and they are in the action of playing out the running away of that fight-flight mechanism. And then after a while, the shaking stops, and they take a couple of very deep breaths, very deep grunting exhales, and their body calms down. So they go right through that natural mechanism of fight and flight to rest and relax and digest state, which keeps their bodies healthy. And this is why you don't see cancers in wild animals. You don't see that high anxiety state, because their life actually depends on having a healthy nervous system and staying present in the now, rather than going back into the past experiences that we tend to do, or extrapolating the futures, where we actually are paralyzed to do anything. And this is where you see our bodies go into entropy and a paralytic state, where we start to lock up our moving body parts because of the perception of threat, or perhaps that you've had a trauma and you were shocked out of it. So those shock and trauma systems never got to totally realize and complete that state of high arousal and going back down that you would normally do if there hadn't been an interference in that stage. And there's many ways that we lock up trauma and pain and fear in our bodies. And remember that our body is innately very intelligent and smart, and if we're not expressing and releasing stress, anxiety, a buildup of tension, remember that depression is just stress that's been stressful for too long without that rest and digest state. And you see people doing medication, using alcohol, recreational drugs, the drug of choice, whether that be workaholism or being a sex addict or whatever it is. This is what people do to try and create alternatives. And remember, these are temporary. And this is why when we're triggered, we often find that we have flashbacks of all the stories that we haven't resolved yet. And this is why I always start with my mindfulness practice and really start to get to the root cause of what created the full body breakdown in the moment that my clients come to see me. And my intention with this call has really been to give you a practice of using these energy rituals and mantras and movement and sounds, so that you can actually start to create lasting change in your life and have a positive effect, not just on the health of your brain, but on your entire physiology, your mind, and your state of well-being. And as you begin to practice these energy movements, you're going to start to see miracles happen. And the whole point of this is not to put you into more overwhelm, not to put you into a higher state of stress and anxiety, because there's something more that you have to do here, but to really just give you the knowing and trusting that you know the stuff. You know this already, and I'm just here to remind you. And I want to just give you a little bit of a taste of what this can be like, of how you can start to release tension and free your mind and create a totally new experience in your body with a very simple little exercise. And I'd like you to go through this with me and just allow yourself to just indulge in this for a moment, because it's just about shaking or bouncing, and it's very, very simple. and it's used in clinics all over China for therapy and healing, and it's fun. Your inner child really, really loves this. So, are you ready to play? Good. All right, so if you want to stay sitting, that's fine, but we have been going for 30 minutes. So I'd like you to stand up. And I want you to just start to let your body shake around. Just let your arms relax, and I want you to just start bouncing up and down. If you're sitting like I am right now, I'm on my bouncing ball, a big Pilates ball, and you can bounce on that, but just allow any buildup of tension in your body and just start shaking it out. And you can even make a few sounds. And bouncy, 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 and move your shoulders around, move your neck, whatever feels good to you. Just allow that inner child to come out and play. I often wish that if we had schools that had standing desks for kids and allowed them to move freely and bounce and shake and move it off while they were learning, how much more dynamic that would be, and how much less these children would be drugged out with Ritalin and other suppressors that are not helping them further down the line, because a lot of these children that have been on these drugs often show up later as anxious, depressed adults, because they were never allowed to freely move through this easy way of releasing stress. We're not designed to sit all day. We're not designed to be in one place, and that could be as a borderland, where if you're anxious and restless and you can't stay in one home for too long or one place for too long, that's your body's natural desire to move. Again, going back to the cycles of the moon and the cycles of the climates and the changes in season. If in the old days that ancestral reptilian part of your brain knew that when you planted crops and you moved with your herd, you came back when it was harvest time to that place, but you traveled and wandered and you lived off the land and you ate foods that were in season, and we were so much more in synchronicity with the natural cycle of life. So don't make yourself wrong if you're one of those people that have to move all the time, because we weren't supposed to stay in one place, and your body knows that. So this is just your opportunity. So as you're listening to my voice, I hope you're still bouncing up and down and just letting go of all the thinking parts, even though that is required for you to digest some of this information that I'm giving you today. Just allow yourself to bounce around, and you can direct your focus and attention to just freeing your body and your mind and just loosening it up. Just keep that shaking going and just let your body mind respond as a full multi-sensory experience that life is supposed to be. And just begin now to just slow that down a little bit. Stretch yourself out. Slow it down. And when you're ready, you can just take a few breaths and slow down and either stay standing, or you can return to your seat and sit. But just notice now, how do you feel? And imagine, we just did that for a few seconds, but if you could just do that 5 minutes every 30 minutes of your day, can you see how it's going to help your mind to expand and your body to relax? And it's so simple, it doesn't cost you anything. And it clears that brain fog, right? So how was that for you? Notice how you were when you started in your body, and feel if there's any change there. Because this is just such a simple thing. It's so simple that you wouldn't use it, because we've been indoctrinated and programmed to think that in order for change to happen, it has to be hard and we have to suffer and it has to cost you a lot of money. So would you be willing to just play with that and just allow yourself and your body to recalibrate and just digest and assimilate everything? And in the East, this is called Qigong, and it's just about honing your body and your mind from a place of transforming physiology and psychology, just literally like that. And I don't know about you, but I've started to notice that I feel lighter. I feel more awake than we were a few minutes ago. And you can see how easily that can transform your organs and hormones and release any pent-up tension or anger or frustration, and just calm your nervous system down and free your mind up from the overthinking that we live in of trying to figure things out. If you didn't have a problem, would you create one just to keep your mind busy? Well, as insane as that sounds, that's where a lot of people function from that place of preoccupation or distraction, to disconnect from their body, to disconnect from that sensate thought, feeling, and emotion of feeling everything in your body on every level. And the Hadi-Das in my home agree. So those are the wild birds outside the window saying, yeah, use your voice, sing a song, play more, laugh more. These are such amazing, easy things that we've forgotten how to do because we've been entrained out of following our body's innate natural rhythm of expression and connection and being and perceiving and knowing everything. So this is an opportunity for you to just remember that you have a body, that you're not just a talking head, and to allow your body to support you, and for your mind to support your body in honoring what your body requires and desires, whether that is a drink of water right now, whether that is chewing on some almonds, or giving yourself some salt and moving your body. So what if it could be that simple for you? So take a breath. And I want you to just check in with yourself right now and just get in touch with how it feels for you to be in the space of choice, to write your own prescription for health beyond anxiety and stress and fear, and to just truly be present in this moment with you, with your body, with me, the sound of my voice, and allowing your external environment to contribute to you right now. So the sound of the birds, the falling of the rain, the sound of your children's voices in the next room. So again, before I move on, I want you to just orientate yourself. So practice the art of orientation, of just moving your head from side to side right now and noticing what you notice. What do you see and smell? How does it feel to have your feet on the ground or your back supported by the chair that you're sitting in? Just check in with your body. Before I move on to key number 1, I did mention to you at the beginning of this webinar how you can get more support from me after this call, if it resonates with you, that I have opened up another 10 slots for the month that you can apply for one of these Skype sessions. It's completely free, and this is the time and your opportunity where you get to receive from me. Because for me, this isn't about the money. This is about reaching as many people as I can and giving them a place to start, a place of hope and a place of empowerment to take back all the places where you've given your power away, where you felt like you cannot get back to optimum health and happiness because of a diagnosis or a prognosis. So I've opened up 10 of these slots. All you have to do is go to sarahjanediamond.com and click on contact and apply for a session and book a time slot on my online booking schedule, and we'll get together. And all you have to do is fill out the questionnaire and send it to me, and we'll spend 30 minutes getting to your root cause of whatever challenges, whether that be health or emotional, that are going on in your life right now, and seeing where you are now and what's stopping you, and the best way forward to write your own personal prescription and have the support to actually get you to that place that you know is possible, to eliminate anxiety and reduce your stress and really get you on track to creating a healthy, abundant, vibrant life, being you, and getting your gifts out in the world too. Because remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're blocking or you're holding on to stress or anger or worry in your body, you're going to get that reflecting back at you from your external environment. And this is really what we're wanting to change by looking at the root of where this all started through the mindfulness practice and through the various components of what makes up the Out of the Blues program, of a very specific methodology that will get you long-lasting results and get you to where you want to be. And would you be willing for it to be easier and quicker than you ever imagined possible? So go ahead, if that is resonating with you, and go to my website, sarahjanediamond.com, and just apply for a session. They normally go pretty quickly. So if you're ready, really ready to do the work, and you're committed to move through the places that are probably not going to be comfortable for you, but you know that it's time to stop running on this hamster wheel, this craziness of doing the same thing over and over again, and you're exhausted, and you know that there's something waiting for you, and it starts with you making that commitment to show up and explore a different possibility. Then please, I will so look forward to getting to know you and giving you some pragmatic tips and tools and a way forward, a plan. Think of it as a life plan that you can start to get your life back on track and chart your own North Star, to be the star of your own life, and to create the abundance and the ease and the peace and the calm and the grace that you know is just there waiting for you, and all you have to do is reach out and grab it. All right, so this brings us back to the biology of belief and those old cliche sayings of that you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. And this is really why a lot of my programs are educational based, because if you don't understand the physiology, if you don't understand what your knowing about your thinking is and how it works, nothing will change. And that's why this work is not always easy to do on your own. And I know for myself that if I hadn't had the support of my practitioners, of my mentors, I'd probably be in that space of overwhelm or depression, or I might not even have been here anymore, because this is where sometimes death feels like it's the only way out. And I want you to know that it doesn't have to be that way. You can change this. So just know that our thinking is immeasurably powerful, and this is what has been our handicap as far as being part of the mammalian species on this planet, is that prefrontal thinking part of our brain, that rational brain, the linear brain, that analytical part that gets tripped up often in perception of what things could be or what things have been, has been our greatest handicap. And it determines if we have a life of suffering or we have a life of suffering. Every thought affects our every organ, every tissue, every cell, and everything that is coming into us in every moment that arises is entering into our body, into every single cell and the space in between, just like a gas enters into a vacuum. It's like and it's an energetic download that is not always true of what's really going on in your reality. And you can change this if you know what it is. But that information from a single thought is very powerful, and it engages a huge domino effect that trickles down to every part of your being, your knowing, of your hormones, your nerves, your whole biological makeup is affected by every single thought. And in every moment, you have an ability to choose to take it as a gift or not. But just know that your thinking is stored in every single cell of your body. If you are not assimilating and if you don't have the tools to move that through in a natural, healthy way, this is where we become diseased, and it becomes a physiological effect of your negative thoughts and emotions. And it's the physiology itself that begins to perpetuate these thoughts and emotions into disease or toward health. So we're aiming for more of what you want, not more of what you don't want. And our thinking at any given moment is creating negative hormones and chemicals or positive hormones and chemicals. And that is really the power of your thought, that you think what you think you do become. And this is what we're trying to change here. We're trying to aim for identifying the root cause of the stories and the thoughts and feelings and attitudes and beliefs that are holding and keeping you stuck and showing up as atrophy or entropy or paralytic embolisms of disease in your body. And it's possible to change this. You just need to know how, and nobody, maybe up until this point, has given you a complete holistic approach to how you can actually empower yourself to change whatever that is that's going on in your life right now. Some of you might know this as alchemy. Some of you might know this as spontaneous healing, where you have already created change by just changing what is true and what's not true for you, and then moving towards what you know is going to give you what you want, rather than aligning and agreeing or resisting or reacting the very thing that you know is there to move you towards your purpose and your path and your contribution to other people in the world. At any moment, you have the ability to change this, and you don't have to be controlled by your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You do not have to be controlled by your body's chemistry or your hormones. We have the power, you have the power to consciously choose your thoughts, to be the change maker of what happens in your mind and your body and your life. And because of your thoughts not only affecting your internal environment, they're affecting your external environment and other people as well. So this is your relationships, this is your money flows, this is a place where either you create more suffering for yourself, but you also magnetize all your harmful conditions externally, and you start to be a condition for others to suffer too. And you know what that is. That's you snapping at your children, or not allowing yourself to be touched because you're not cultivating positive, healthful, feel-good states internally and then magnetizing all those positive conditions externally, so that you literally are like a beacon of light and hope and inspiration for other people in your work and in your family and with your friends. And remember, the brain loves repetition. So the more that you move into practicing mindfulness, the more you are going to start to change those old patterns and pathways. The brain has an incredible neuroplasticity, and you can change this, and you've seen this. If you've read Jill Bolte Taylor's book on her left hemisphere stroke, she taught her body through training her mind to rehabilitate itself. So you can move through trauma or shock. You can move through anger and rage. You can move through all your emotions and extract from your body and mind, just like hitting delete and removing a virus on your computer or doing a defrag. You can change this. And if you don't, this is where we continue to suffer. And the negative emotions stored in your body and your mind continue to play out. You're a self-fulfilling prophecy of everything you don't want. When you start to remove them, you start to uncover your true divine nature that's always been there. It's always been there underneath all the superficial accumulation of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and worry, and should-haves and could-haves. It's always been there waiting for you to choose something different. And your true nature is naturally positive. It wants you to thrive. It's the same for all beings. So when you truly remove the fear, you are naturally going to find more calm and clarity and peace. And when you remove the worry, you're naturally going to find more joy. And it's joy in the simple things that matters here. It's the steps, one step at a time, that's going to get you to create the big changes. All you have to do is take a step, and the more natural it becomes and the more effortless it becomes. That's why it's called a practice. So if you're truly ready to change this now, I encourage you to take advantage of one of those complimentary Skype sessions to really get you to break through from anxiety and stress and worry, and to create the clarity and the focus and the courage and the confidence to live fully expressed in your true nature, beyond this made-up place of suffering as being your standard operating procedure. It never was yours. It was assigned to you. It was handed down to you from generations and generations of cultural mores and morality, of family stories, of historical cultures, of meaning making. So go ahead and book your session now, and let's get you back to your true divine nature. So big breath, you're almost on the home run. And just a little recap so far. We've really talked about a lot of things, but those 3 keys to eliminating that anxiety, of reducing your stress and moving out of depressed and that worry state that's keeping you stuck doing the same thing over and over again, was the importance of harmonizing your daily patterns, of looking at rituals and habits, especially around sleeping and nourishing your body. What time are you going to bed? What are you eating? Are you moving during the day? Are you listening to your body? So in training back into the natural cycles of nature and the universe, we've talked about natural states of moving your body, therapeutic movement that can relax your body and regulate your whole physiology in a way that you have never experienced before. That is really quite simple. And this is a very valuable tool in using your natural capabilities, and you just need to know, and you just need to choose the mechanism that's going to work for you. And we talked about using your thinking mind, giving your ego a job, and understanding how it works and how it interacts with your body to store information that gives rise to anxiety or moves you toward peace and calm and happiness. And that it's absolutely possible to delete all these old programs and patterns that have kept you in this low harmonic vibration of no sex, no money, no receiving, and no being. That state of non-doing. And in so doing, that you're going to uncover your true divine nature, your natural sense of ease and joy and happiness. And I hope that this free webinar has been helpful to you. I know that there is so much more that you are ready and willing to have. And I want you to know that you know, and that you have the power to make these simple changes, to reduce your stress, to move away from worry. And that all happens based on what choices you're making right now, not from right or wrong, and not based on where you are now, but where you want to be and what you're willing and committed to do to get you there now without the suffering. And for me, it's been seeking out the best teachers and practitioners and mentors and investing in myself, seeing myself as my own most valuable asset, and that I'm worthy of receiving that and giving that to me no matter what, so that I can cut through the suffering and really start to create more happiness and more calm in my life, and how to use what we naturally have available to us to do exactly this, to succeed in this, and to make the very best choices for you, to move you forward. You need to have a mentor. You need somebody that you can trust, that's going to support you, that's going to stand in the fire when you cannot, and hold that vision of your bright, healthy, incredible, abundant future for you, so that you get there. And that you get there by writing your own personal prescription, not some cookie cutter model, not some promise, some magic pill that if you just run this clearing or say this 100 times a day or take a pill, that your whole life is going to change. But to really integrate all the parts and pieces that are going to remove all the obstacles that are holding you stuck and into a state of calm, your natural position to thrive. And I want that for you, so that you are going to be able to navigate your way through challenging times and stress and get you there without making yourself wrong or beating yourself up or thinking that there is no hope for you. So if you're truly committed to resolving these patterns of anxiety and stress and worry in your life, I encourage you to find the right mentor for yourself that's going to help you cut through in a very targeted way and proven methods, that's walking their talk without wasting any valuable time. And I am so committed to helping as many people as I possibly can to resolve this pervasive state of stress and anxiety and depression, because I know what it feels like to be there. And I'm living proof, and my clients are living proof that you can do this and you can have your best life and live in your natural state of bliss and divinity. And I'm not saying that it's not going to be hard, that there's going to be places that are uncomfortable, but I want you to know that you can do this, and that there are people waiting for your unique talents and capacities, that you're naturally here, that you're designed to help people with. And the world needs you right now. It needs your gifts and talents. We need that part of you to show up and shine and have a positive effect on people around you, because you're an expert on what you have overcome and what your challenges are in your personal story. And your purpose in life is to know happiness and be happiness. It's not about being tangled up in all these lies of lack and scarcity and worth and guilt and shame and blame. The world needs what you and only you have to offer in your unique way. And I want to help you and assist you and support you in getting your message out into the world. Please don't let panic and stress and depression kill you. If you're really committed to calming down your nervous system, getting your gut healthy again, clearing the brain fog, then I invite you to take that next step with me, and I will be happy to get you on your way. And if you were to come into my clinic to have a session like the one that I'm offering, they start at $300 an hour. So take action now. Take a risk and invest in yourself, because you are worthy and you are so, so loved. Please don't let anxiety or stress or depression hold you back anymore. That is why you're here. And you showed up on this call, and for that I am so grateful. And that's why you're here. So even if it feels uncomfortable deciding to take that next step, you have nothing to lose except stress and worry and anxiety. So I hope that I get to speak to you very, very soon, so that we can look at where you are now, what is sticking you, and what is going to get you to realize your true potential as a healthy, inspired, amazing contribution to the world. So please go across to sarahjanediamond.com. And if you haven't yet received your gift, which is the 5-element personal profile quiz, that's going to really get you to identify where your triggers are that push you over the edge, what element you are, go to sarahjanediamond.com and download the questionnaire and fill it in, and let me know your comments, your questions, your feedback, your insights. They matter to me. I read every single one of my emails myself. And hearing from you, being able to contribute to you, that's my wealth currency. That is what makes me get up every day and know that my work matters. So I am so grateful that you showed up. I hope that this has been beneficial to you. And I wish all of you the greatest success beyond stress, beyond depression, into your greatest health, wealth, and happiness. And the birds agree. So go be amazing and know you're loved. And I will see you on the other side. Thank you again for you. Bye.